זאת עולה מן המדבר
זאת עולה מן המדבר
מקוטרת מור מור לבונה
מקוטרת מור מור לבונה
ליבבתיני אחותי כלה
ליבבתיני אחותי כלה
אני לדודי לדודי ובצהלה תוך אמוני העם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה
לך דודי לקראת קהלה הנה שבת נקבלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קהלה הנה שבת
Kindness, being kind, oh, loving kindness, living kind. Will you choose the love inside you, been put down by what we've been through? Can you imagine what we do to one another and what we say to each other? It's all compassion. So we'll fill the world. So we'll fill the world. We will fill the world with kindness, being kind, oh, loving kindness, living kind. Kindness, being kind, oh, loving kindness, living kind. Do you feel the negativity that clogs our connectivity with every letter? It plagues the world's immunity. It's our lack of curiosity. We can do better. Let's fill the world instead
Can you hear me? You hear me okay through this? Okay. Shabbat Shalom to you, and welcome to our Simply Shabbat service here in the chapel at Temple Emmanuel. And I will say I'm alone tonight, and people know, so our cantor had COVID this week, so it's just me. I don't know if you should be happy about that or sad about that, but it just means you're going to have to sing a lot more, Brad. That's all it means. You have to sing a lot louder so we can all hear you. Let's start with Hine Matov on page 10. Hine Matov, O Manayim Shever Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, O Manayim Shever Achim Gam Yachad. Let's do that again, page 10. Hine Matov, O Manayim Shever Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, O Manayim Shever Achim Gam Yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Matov, O Manayim Shever Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, O Manayim Shever Achim Gam Yachad. Let's go back to page 2. We brought in just a little bit of singing. We're going to continue doing that, but now it's time to bring the light of Shabbat into the room. I'd like to invite Andrea and Paxton. See, you got to come up, man. You can't have your mother come up alone. She needs the support. Come right around. You got to use the stairs because liability issues, obviously. Yes. So we're on page 2. Ya la 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 ra ra ya ra 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 ya ra 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 ya ra 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As we continue on with this service, in a moment we're going to be on page 20 for Lecha Dodi, to welcome in the Sabbath. But before we get there, you know, for this part of our service, for Chazarat HaShavua, to review our week, I used to try to find, you know, some significant thing that happened during the week to kind of, that I think directs us. When things happen in the week, I think we get kind of directed to a place in our souls and our minds. I can't find one thing this week. There's so many. There's so much in this world right now that I feel like when I come to Shabbat evening, that I just, you know, it's like I just want to take a shower and get it off of me. So we're going to take a mind shower. And we're going to try to just kind of allow the difficulties of this week, the stresses of the week, the anxiety things, the pressure that we might feel from anything that's in our lives, and just see if we can Just a little bit, let that go a little bit. So let's go through our week and find those points of pressure and try to release ourselves from those as we enter into Shabbat. So let's take a moment now, a couple moments, for Chazarat HaShavua, a review of the week. We're on page 20. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat nekab, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala. La 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad L'shem multiferet v'litila Ya la la lecha dodi Ya la la likrat kala Ya la pnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5 Hitoreri Ki va'orech kumiori Uri Shir daberi Kvod Adonai Alayich nigla La lecha dodi La likrat kala La pnei Shabbat nekabela. Let us rise and face the entrance as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה יא לה לה לך דודי יא לה לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Let's go to page 28. We've gotten to our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach לעולם ועד המבורך לעולם ועד. You may be seated. Let's read the reading on the bottom of page 29. This is one of my most favorite readings, and we're going to go right from there into the Shema. And as we read this reading, I want you to think about, where do you feel on the spectrum of what they're talking about in this reading? Let's read together. O God. O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. We go to 34 and 35, but if you'd like to close your eyes, how far you feel. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. Let's move to page 40, sing from the book of Exodus, from Shemot, Mi Chamocha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh noratilot. Osef ele, Osef ele, malchutcha ra'u vanecha. בוקע ים לפני משה מרים, מלכותך ראו בניך. בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי. ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם ועד. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Move now to page 42. This is a special prayer for us to think about as we go to sleep tonight. Hope that as we fall asleep at that time where we feel vulnerable, perhaps even a little bit frightened, that there's this shelter of peace that comes over us. We can feel a little more peaceful as we sleep through the night and wake up tomorrow and maybe feel a little bit better. Ufros aleinu, third line. Sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha. Let's try that again. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha. The indented section. Ushmor tzeitenu, uvoenu, lechaim ol shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha. In a moment, we're going to continue on page 46, but if you could, go to page 253 for a special blessing for those who are ill. The way we do this is we'll sing the first half of the prayer so that we have the strength to go be with people that need us. And then I have a list to read here, and I'll come around and make eye contact with all of you. You can call out the names of the people that are in your heart today that are in need of healing. And then we'll come back and pray on behalf of all the names called. Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say, Amen. Jill Kahn, Megan Cavallari, Eitan Chaim, Woody Clark, Patrice Feinstein, Judy Fenton, Tanaz Falati, Shir Gaon, Felicia Glantz, Andy Hale, Helene Hale, Iraj Harunian, Eric Innocenti, Marion Klieger, Bill Kelligan, Leah Marisa Batrivka Adina Vyakov Ruven, Brad Landy, Kathleen Agnes McCarthy, Volvo Ben Meir, Sheila Merowitz, Tali Merowitz, Rachel Moran, Jack Olshansky, Howard Rosen, Lindy Sobel, Mabube Soleimani, Luis Soto, Paul Vielik, Yehudit Bat Nahama Mordechai, Halina Wachtel, Marilyn Weiss, Freddie Wolf, Andy Wu, Shahya Zagi, and Howard Zelikow. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We go now back to page 46 for the Amidah. We'll rise together on 46, then we'll go quiet. When you've done prayers in the Siddur or prayers from your heart to about, I think it's page 62, you may be seated, and when we're all done, we'll continue when we're seated. Adonai Svatai, there we go. Tiftach Adonai Svatai, Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Let's go to page 60. Sing for peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael v'chol et v'chol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is the one day a year, the one time of the year I talk about one subject. And I always talk about it on this Torah portion, Bahalotcha, because this has the major story that has this one topic. It has a whole bunch of other things, and I have to apologize to Brad because he was in my Torah study on Thursday, so there's a little bit of repetition that's going to happen here. Because this is what you talk about on this Torah portion. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Not you, you're not allowed to answer. Anyone know? Gossip. Lashon hara. So I'm going to talk about how fun it is to gossip. Ready? No. It is funny because I try to at least once a year have a Devar Torah sermon about Lashon hara, about gossip. I really think it's something every one of us in this room does, unless you really concentrate on trying not to do it. And even then, I've been trying literally for 30 years to stay away from talking about other people, and I still fail. 30 years I've been thinking about this regularly. So, just to give you an idea of why we're talking about this, this is the section of the Torah where Aaron goes over to, and Miriam, they're talking to each other, and they're like, can you believe Moses married a Cushite woman? And then God takes them out all into the kind of a public area and says, how dare you say that? I'm really paraphrasing here. You got to read it yourself. And then, a cloud comes over, the cloud leaves, and Miriam is struck with white scales on her arms. And then there's a very famous line that Moses prays on her behalf, and he says, El na rafanallah, please God heal her. That is one of the only prayers that is said by a character in the Torah. So, when we look at this, first of all, the big question needs to come up. It came up in our Torah study. None of us had the answer except that it's sexist, is why isn't Aaron punished? Only Miriam is punished, right? Aaron was listening to it. And in fact, in Lashon hara, according to the laws of Lashon hara, there are 3 people that are literally murdered when you gossip. The person telling it, the person hearing it, and the person that was talked about. That's how bad the rabbis say it is. It's like murdering 3 people. Very quickly, there's 3 kinds of Lashon hara. Can everyone give me the smallest transgression, what that's called? Do you remember, Brad? Do you remember from Thursday? I'm not going to call on you then. Rechilut is the first one. Rechilut. Have you ever heard of this? It's a Hebrew word. You know Hebrew, don't you? You've spoken Hebrew a couple times? Okay. I'm going to ask you for translations, believe me. Rechilut is when you say anything about anyone that causes someone to not like the person. Or I like to, it's funny because it says to hate a person. I like to think it's anything you say to someone that causes something to think negative thoughts about the person. That's kind of the way I've translate that, right? So that's even good things. If I went to Elizabeth, our pianist, She has children, I have children. I'm like, oh gosh, my daughter got into Harvard. Shouldn't use Harvard. My daughter got into Lesley University, which is where she goes. And Elizabeth gets angry at her because her child didn't get into Lesley. Or I'm like, hey, did you see the new sneakers that Joey got? And he gets mad because his mom wouldn't let him get those sneakers. So he gets mad at Joey because Joey has them. So that's the first one. Just saying something that causes someone to be angry or feel negative about someone else. You don't think of it that way, but it happens a lot. Next, Lashon Hara. The words Lashon Hara is one of the categories of the big umbrella of Lashon Hara, and that's when you say derogatory things about someone when they're not there. You know, I like to think of this, by the way, as putting cursing a deaf person. Right? In Leviticus, it says, don't put a stumbling block before the blind and don't curse a deaf person. That's what you're doing when you're doing gossip, is you're cursing someone who's not there. It's like they're deaf, like they're not there, right? So that's the second one. And this is a derogatory. It has to be a negative statement to fall under this rubric. Thirdly is something called motzi shem ra, which means to bring out a bad name. That's when it's a lie. It's a rumor. It's not even true, and you're spreading that around. I think all of us would agree that all of those things are terrible, and we shouldn't do them. The last one, it's not really a category within it, but it kind of is, and it's called avak lashon hara, which is like dust of gossip. And that's if I say, you don't want me to tell you what Andrea did yesterday, and then I leave. Or on the phone, it's like, you wouldn't believe what I heard about Elisa. You wouldn't believe it. What's your next phrase? What happened? So it's anytime you're leaving breadcrumbs, you know, saying, oh, you don't want to ask me about that. This happens all the time. So there's two things I wanted to mention, actually three things I wanted to mention on this. The first is something that I discovered, and I have to give my wife credit on this, although we've been saying it for a long time. I had an aha moment last week. We were talking about something, and she says to me, but you know, that's her story to tell. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God, there's the answer to anyone that's doing Lashon Hara. You start talking to me about, I'm like, you know what? I think that's his story to tell. I don't think that's your story to tell. I think that's her story to tell. It's a great way of telling someone without saying, hey, dope, don't gossip. What are you, an idiot? You know what I mean? Which would be horrible to say to someone, but if you say, you know, that might be her story to tell, that person might think, you know what? You have a point, right? I just thought that is like a new thing that just last week I've actually been thinking about it all week, that phrase, and how important that phrase is to say when someone's relaying gossip to you. Because one of the arguments I've had this week when talking about this is this idea, is like, how can the person who's hearing it, why would they get in trouble? They're not doing anything wrong. It's like, you know, usually when someone starts a conversation that's gossip, they're like, did you hear? Did you hear? That's like the first, did you hear what happened? You know, did you hear what Elizabeth did? And then you start telling your story. So it's like, did you hear what Elizabeth did? No, but maybe it's Elizabeth's story to tell. Right? Sorry for calling on you so much, but you're so talkative. So there are 7 things. This is one thing actually I have not gone through, and all the times I talk about Lashon Hara, we did it in our class, but whenever I've talked about it from the pulpit, I don't usually talk about these. So I thought I'd change it up a little bit and talk about these 7 things that you're supposed to make sure of before you start talking about somebody else. Okay? 1, you must have a beneficial intention. Right? You're not telling someone just to make them hate someone. You're telling them, you know, I have to tell you about this because you're going into business with this person and they embezzled in the last business they went, right? I'm protecting him. It's for a beneficial situation. Or if I'm like, hey, Paxton, you know, I heard this cute person wants to meet you. Thank God he smiled for a second. I didn't think he was gonna. You're right? That's talking about someone else saying something that they have, but it's bringing people together, right? It's for a beneficial reason. That's 1. 2, absent Absence of any doubt as to the truth of the incident. You know, in our parlance nowadays, truth is very hard to come by and understand. Try to make sure that if you're passing information, the information is true. Third, absence of any possible factor to render the action permissible. So, you know, I'm trying to think of an example of that, but it's like, you know, if you see someone, all right, I got a good one. You see me at a buffet and I'm chomping on bacon, right? What would make that permissible? It's turkey bacon, right? It's kosher bacon. It's turkey bacon or it's chicken bacon or it's one of those. Like you see it from afar, you think, oh my God, they're doing this thing. Or you tell somebody, it's like, wait a minute, are you sure it was bacon? Or it might have been turkey bacon, right? So it's like, check it to make sure that the action isn't permissible. 4, you have admonished the subject prior to relating the incident and they've refused to change their actions. So someone does something, you go to them and you say, listen, you really shouldn't do this. They don't listen to you. You can go and tell someone about it. 5, you must be sure that the narrative is accurate, which is different than it's the truth, right? I heard that someone stole Paxton's pen, right? Well, maybe Paxton loaned it to him. Could be the number 3, the possible factor to render it permissible. And what if it actually wasn't that they stole it, but Paxton actually gave it as a gift, right? That would be a narrative that would change. So make sure that you're accurate, make sure that it's truthful. 6, use another method when possible. Don't tell of the incident if you can solve the problem without it. In other words, if you feel like going and talking to someone about something, you can figure out this issue yourself, don't go to them and talk about it. And then the last one is don't cause greater loss than the subject is due. You know, if someone stole Paxton's pen, don't treat them like they murdered Paxton. You know what I mean? Like there's levels to things that people do. And let's treat it with the severity that it deserves. So those are 7 things to think about. But I actually believe there's one overall overarching understanding that that might help us all, and that is, I talked about this at High Holidays, L'chaf zechut. In Pirkei Avot, Hillel says, don't judge a friend until you put yourself in his place. The Mishnah says, Bartanura in the Mishnah, if you see your neighbor ensnared by some temptation, don't judge your neighbor harshly until you face the same temptation and mastered it. And then lastly, Reb Nachman of Bratslav says that we should really search, even though we hear negative things about people, we should really search for the goodness inside of them. He says, quote, you have to judge every person generously. Even if you have reason to think the person is completely wicked, it's your job to look hard and seek out some bit of goodness, some place in that person where they're not evil. And everyone, after all, has such a place. And by telling them and showing them that that's who they are, we can help them change their lives. You know, l'chaf zechut. Find goodness in people. Judge your friend positively. And most of all, if someone does something you don't approve of, go talk to them about it. Don't come talk to me unless it's a rabbinical issue you're having. But you don't need to come talk to me about it. Go talk to that person. Instead of complaining to your friend about another person, complain to that person about themselves. Actually, the conversation might be a little bit better. And you might find some relief from the anxiety you're feeling about that person, actually. So, there you go. I expect all of us will be experts on doing gossip or staying away from it. And I don't know if it's your luck or problem that you came here on this Shabbat, but next year, B'ha'alotcha, you're going to get the same sermon, just said differently. Let's go to page 282 for our closing prayers. And please rise for Aleinu. 282. What? If you don't do the Shona Ra, yeah, that's true. That's true. You will not be forgiven. What if you do Lashon Hara in synagogue on Yom Kippur? That would be bad. I agree. Here we go. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה 287 מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We turn to 294. And the first thing we do is we think about those families of congregants that have passed away in the last month. The families are observing Shloshim. We especially remember the families of Roy Young and Fachri Novian, Faye Novian. We also remember those yard sites that occur on the Shabbat, those that have died at this season in years past. And we especially remember Ann Bisno and Terry Collin, Rana Edgers, Jean Feinstein, Sari Kastner, and Deborah Rhodes. I'd like to ask if there's anyone here observing Shloshim. If you'd please rise and tell us who you're here to say Kaddish for. And if there is someone here for a yard site, the anniversary of a loved one's death, if they'd like to stand and tell us. Yeah. And is there anyone in the first year after the death of a loved one that would like to say their name? Please stand and tell us the name. So let us rise together. We say Kaddish Yatom for the names called and those that have no one to say it for them, those that were lost in the Holocaust, those that died from COVID, and especially those that died on October 7th and since in the violence in the Middle East. Our hearts are with all of those families as we say Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'l'olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, to the whole world. And we say, amen. You may be seated. Just a couple announcements. Our ECC registration is still going on. You can go to tebhecc.org and find out more information. This Wednesday, we're having a very important event in the sanctuary. It is College Campus Climate. We're going to meet with David Cohen, who is the director of the USC Hillel. And he's going to talk about the climate on USC's campus and all around the country. We especially want, if you know any college-age kids or high school-age kids or people that, are involved in on college campuses to come and hear this. I really think it's going to be an excellent event. He's going to talk for a little bit, and then we're going to answer questions as long as we need to. So please join us for that. You can join us for religious school, and you can be in this room for yoga 3 days a week. So check our calendar for all that stuff. I know yoga's going on because my wife teaches it and she leaves the house. So she's either coming here or we can start gossiping about her. I didn't learn a thing. All right. Sarah, do you think we have any other announcements I forgot, you think? That's Sarah Heiner, our executive director back there. Thank you, Sarah, for helping out today in the back and all of that. Let's end our song with a song of peace. Our service with a song of peace. Oseh Shalom. Please stand if you want to put your arm around the person next to you. Ask permission first. Oseh Shalom bimromav. Yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Oseh Shalom bimromav. Yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Baruch atem b'voachem, Baruch atem b'tzeitchem. You were blessed as you came in here. May you be blessed as you go out. Shabbat Shalom.